Guy and I match. He's super cute, tall, and we have like a lot of stuff in common. He's super into sports, likes to travel, and I'm like, all right, whatever, we match. Messages me pretty much immediately, and we start to totally chat, and we're having really good conversation, and not just like basic, like, hey, how are you? We're talking a lot of sports and a bunch of other things, just like about getting to know each other. Eventually, he's like, we should move off of the app. Here's my number, and he gives me his number, and I text him. And like I said, he was making the conversation fun. It wasn't just asking me questions. He came up with this really cool idea where he was like, how about I ask you a question, but then you have to answer it with a picture out of your camera roll. So he'd be like, do you have any pets? And then I would send a picture of my dog Coop. He was definitely putting effort in to get to know me via these questions. And he was super fun because we would send a lot of music back and forth, which I love. Finally, he asks me on a date. He's like, would you want to go to a Diamondbacks game with me? I think it'd be a really fun first date idea, which I was like, you know what? Yes, I would love to. I think this would be super fun. Plus, conversation with him had been easy. So I was like, okay, I can handle a first date with this man. He's like, okay, I'm going to buy the tickets for next week then. He bought the tickets and I was like, oh, I am excited. I really want to go to this. And this is going to be a fun first date. We're obviously still continuing to text days up until the date. Friday rolls around, he tells me that he was going out with his friends, and I wasn't doing anything, just sitting on my couch watching some basketball, chilling with my Friday night. He texts me that he just got home from drinks, and I was like, oh, how was it? He's telling me about it, and then he texts me and he's like, do you want to hang out? And in my head, I'm like, wait, didn't we already make plans to go to the baseball game? I just texted back, when? He replies with, oh, well, like I was thinking right now. And in my head, I'm kind of like, wait, what? Like, I'm so confused by this. It was also like 11:45 at night, almost midnight. And I was like, I don't love the time frame of this. He's like, you can come over to my place or I can come over to yours. And in my head, I'm like, am I just new to this whole dating thing? In my head, I'm like, I don't want to invite some random man over to my house that I've literally never met. Like, that man could be a killer. And I'm just thinking, okay, wait, so you're trying to booty call me right now after we already set like a date to go out? I'm thrown off by the metrics here. Just like go to bed and I don't respond to this because I was like, this is not the energy that I'm looking for. He texts me Saturday, the next day, like nothing is wrong. And it's like, hey, hope you're having a great Saturday. What are you up to? And again, I don't respond. So Sunday rolls around, and today's Monday, by the way. We're supposed to go to the game today. Text me, hey, are we still planning on going to the game tomorrow? And I was like, all right, I better answer him this time. Just super honest with him. I was like, hey, I was really enjoying our conversations that we were having, but Friday threw me off a little bit. Text me back, he's like, oh, I'm really sorry about Friday. I know it probably came off like I was trying to hook up with you, but that wasn't the case. I just wanted to hang out. I knew it was kind of late, but I was still up for having some fun, and my friends had left after drinks. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit with this text for just a second. And I needed to think on things because I was like, I was liking the conversation, but this whole thing got a little weird. And wow, my hair is so nasty right now. An hour goes by, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I love baseball. It's a free baseball game I get to go to. And I did enjoy the conversation with this guy at first. Like, let's just give him one chance. And this feels really hydrating under my eyes. Thought about it. I ended up texting him back and I was like, you know what? We had great conversation. Like, I'd love to still go to the game with you. Waited about an hour before I responded. He responds and he's like, okay, great. I can't wait to meet you. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be exciting. 2 seconds later, he sends a text back and he says, can we do Tuesday or Wednesday? I'm like, wait, we originally already planned for Monday and you bought the tickets. And he responds and says, well, you didn't answer back for like an hour, so I asked one of my buddies to go. We're going now tomorrow. Needless to say, I did not respond and I will not be going to a baseball game with him now. So my first Hinge date was a huge fail because it didn't even happen. Here's my little on-air fit for the day. I kind of look like a hot, cute UPS driver. What do we think? Yeah? Yeah, I can come deliver your boxes, come deliver your packages to your door.
Know some of you girlies have great relationships from Hinge. This is not one of those stories. A couple months ago, I went on a date with this guy in New York. I can't believe I'm just telling this story, but we met on Hinge, so you already know how it's gonna go. He asked me if I want to go to a hookah lounge. I say no because I don't smoke hookah. It gives me headaches, makes me feel nauseous, so I say no. He says, okay, like meet me at the Ritz at 8 p.m. for drinks. Fine, great, let's do it. Let him know it's a 10-minute Uber ride. He's like, oh, that's nice. Like, it's right across the street from me, so I'm just gonna walk. Like, okay, red flag number one, that's already so annoying. Like, why would you pick a place that's right across the street from you and then make me come to you? Like, what are you? I show up to the date and I look nice as always, and this guy's wearing skinny jeans and a jersey style hoodie. Red flag number two. Listen, like, just put in like a little bit, like, why are you wearing that? We get to talking and he's asking me about my goals and I'm talking about like my aspirations for my career. This man has the audacity to say, and who's gonna pay for that? Me. Me. And when I say that, he says the most sexist, misogynistic thing, basically saying, no, you have it all wrong. What you need to do, you're pretty enough. You just need to date a rich man. And that's it. Like, that's what you need to be doing. You're so confused with all these aspirations and career goals that you have. You need to sit down, be quiet, and marry a rich man. Him, of course, he's insinuating. So he's telling me that I need to just marry a rich man and forget all of the career goals I have for myself. And then he proceeds to tell me that for every $250,000 a man makes, he deserves 8 cheating allegations. You can't make this up, bro. You can't make it up. He's telling me to marry a rich man and let him cheat on me because he makes enough money. Are you crazy? You must be crazy. I'm ordering another drink because at this point I just need to drink through this conversation. And he leans over and kisses me. We're literally sitting at the bar and shoves his tongue down my throat. There's tons of people everywhere. I also just met you. I don't remember this guy's name and you have your tongue down my throat right now in front of a bunch of people. Also, like, this is very weird. I was honestly just taken aback. Like, I don't even know. I didn't even know. I was shocked. I was so thrown off. I definitely should have left at this point. He decides that he's done drinking. He's like, let's go across the street. We go across the street to where? A freaking hookah lounge. After I already told you I don't want to go to the hookah lounge, then proceeds to sit on the inside, you know, like the 2-seater tables and one's kind of like at the booth. He proceeds to sit on the inside, order a thing of hookah, and I'm sitting on the outside chair, singing this freaking how slow are you? Look, he's a regular here. Everyone freaking knows him. He starts smoking the hookah and blowing it in my face. Mind you, it's only been a few minutes that we've been here, and at this point I'm like, okay, I'm absolutely out of here. Ta-ta, guy. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head out. And you know what he says? Oh, you don't want to stay? You want to stay here with me? You want to hang out with me? You want to come sit next to me at the booth? You want to stay? You don't want to stay? No, bro. I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay. I never wanted to be here to begin with. I don't want to. I was like, you know what? You can walk me out if you want. And his response is, why would I do that? Why would I do that? So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to go. I don't need you to walk me out. I was just, you know what? Just, good night. Good night. Sayonara. So when I get back to my place, I just shoot him a polite text. Don't even know why. I should have just blocked him. I don't know. But I sent him this text saying like, hey, nice meeting you, but I don't think it's going to work out. And this is the text he sends back to me. I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand what happens between the 2 ears of a man.
A lot of people are doing Hinge horror stories on here, so I want to contribute mine. This is one of the worst dates I've ever been on in my entire life. And granted, some people have had it a lot worse. This is nothing compared to them, but I'm going to throw in my story. So back when I was living in Florida, I was on a couple different dating apps. I was on Tinder, I was on Hinge, I was on Bumble. I was probably on all of them. And I matched with a guy whose pictures didn't quite show him. Like, it was really tough to make out what the man looked like. And his bio was super vague. So I don't know why I swiped right, but something in me was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And we ended up matching and setting up a time to go out for drinks at a bar that was like right up the road for me. I think I chose the location. And I show up that night and I see him standing in the doorway, and instantly I'm like, oh, this is not, like, there's no attraction. He wasn't my type. But I was like, okay, I'll just go. I'll sit for 45 minutes. We'll have a conversation. I'll feed my extroverted side. It'll be fine. So we get our beers and it's kind of crowded. So we go and sit outside at a picnic table. And I don't remember when it first started going downhill, but one of the things that sticks out in my mind is he had just moved from New York and he used the word libtard in an unironic way. And then he started going off about politics, and we were very obviously not aligned in our beliefs. And the conversation just kind of kept getting worse and worse. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to be like, you know, as women we're taught not to make waves. And I was like, just get through this. And I'm drinking my beer and I'm starting to feel a little bit fuzzy tingly. And then somehow the conversation like merged into astrology, which I enjoy. I don't put a ton of stock in it, but like it's fun to talk about. But this man was very into astrology. Like he started judging my star sign, which I could have done the same back. Whatever his was, it fit. And then at one point, he asks me if I've ever kissed or hooked up with a girl. I think he said like I give bi energy or something like that. But it wasn't phrased very kindly, and also what a weird thing to ask somebody on a first date. And I think I like nervous laughed and I was like, yeah, I'm bi, you know? It was awkward. And then we started talking about middle names. This man had a weird middle name. I'm not gonna judge your name. You didn't pick it, but like his middle name was Goofy. His whole name was Goofy. And so at one point, we're in the middle of talking about something and he leans in to kiss me. And I kid you not, my body reacted and I went, oh no, like literally physically repulsed. And then I'm sitting there like kind of tipsy, like, oh, oh, sorry, you know, trying to laugh it off. But there was nothing I could do. So I looked at him and I said his whole name and I was like, I am not gonna kiss you. And he looked very defeated and very confused as to why he had been rejected. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe we could get another beer? And I was like, no, I'm actually gonna go. And I left. And it was probably the worst date I've ever been on.
Story time about when I found out that I was in a relationship with a guy that I'd never met before. So about 2 years ago, I get a DM on Instagram from this random girl. She says, hey Anika, I know that we're strangers, but can you please block my boyfriend on Instagram? So I was like, okay, like what's your boyfriend's Instagram? And she sent it through and I had recognized the name. So I clicked on his profile and I realized that it's a guy from back in 2015. I went to a wedding and his cousin asked me for my number. I just want to preface the story by saying that I was brought up to be Muslim and this wedding was a Malaysian traditional wedding. Now that's an important note because of what I'm going to tell you later. Anyways, back to the messages. So basically she said that he can't move on from me and thank you so much for being cooperative. So straight off the bat, I was really confused because I hadn't talked to this guy literally since like 2015. So I just messaged her back and say, hey, just to let you know, like we were never a thing and it's okay, I blocked him. And then she just said, sorry for bothering you, thank you so much, have a great day. And that was that. And then 2 months later, I get a DM from the same girl. And the message says, hey Nika, I have a question. Do you have the time to answer? And I was like, yeah, why not? And this is where it starts getting really fucking weird. So she sends a massive paragraph, I'm talking huge. And it pretty much says that his mum can't stop talking about me and that she loves me so much and that she can't compare. And this girl is Indonesian, so her language is kind of broken. And she goes to say that she's trying really hard to get the attention and the love and the heart from the mum, but the mum keeps comparing her to me. And I've never even met this family. And she's saying things like I'm the role model and it's an injustice to ugly people and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what is going on? But then like, I'm just so confused that I just reply, are you sure that you're not getting this mixed up with someone else? It can't be me. And then she just says that it's a truth. And then I say, well, it seems really weird that someone would talk like that about me when they don't even know me. And at this point, I'm just thinking, this must be a mix-up. It can't be me. Like, I'm so confused. And then she goes on to say that she thought that we're really close and that I've got more respect than her from the mum and all this weird shit. She then says that she's going to marry him but doesn't know anymore because of what the mum keeps saying about me and she keeps talking about me and all this stuff. And I just kind of kept saying like, I don't know why they're saying this. We're not close. I don't really know them at all. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to go to part 2, but I swear it's worth it.
I went on a date with a girl that tried to unalive me. As always, we gotta set the back scene. You know, ever since I went on reality TV, dating has been almost a nightmare. I don't know how to find these girls. In fact, I got denied from Raya. They said I wasn't popular enough. Apparently, it's frowned upon on us, A or B-list celebrities, whatever you want to call us. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so I met this girl on one of these said dating apps, and we decided, hey, let's go and have a nice dinner. When I went and I met her, everything seemed fine, seemed kosher. She lived in like a normal apartment building, whatever. We went to said sushi restaurant that's very popular and known in LA. While getting to know her, I mentioned I'm trying to get closer with my religion, find God, etc., etc. She seemed to take a particular interest in this. And I was like, all right, cool. Maybe this girl could be super cool and she could be the one. She was telling me all the right things. She had no red flags, a lot of green things going on. Like, she was cool. So what did I decide to do? I decided to take her with me on vacation. I was like, you know what? Let's go down to Cabo, Mexico. It's beautiful down here, you know, there's no complaints. This is where the red flag started kicking in. So I had her come over to my house so we could get in an Uber and go to the airport. When on the way over, she noticed that one of my friends had FaceTimed me. My friend was a girl. I chatted with her for a bit on the phone, nothing serious, but I could tell it gave her a particular attitude. It kind of well ticked this girl off. Me not thinking much of it or really wanting to entertain it, I kind of just went about it. And my friend who had FaceTimed me felt really uncomfortable. She started, got off the phone, started texting me, whatever. It's fine. I could tell this was also triggering the girl. So we're now getting on the airplane and, she sits in her seat. I open up the overhead bin and I set my bag in there and I close it and I sit down and she immediately goes, "Why did you slam the door?" She's talking about the overhead bin. I go, "I did not slam it. I shut it very gracefully. Like, what are you talking about?" She's like, "Whatever." Instantly, I'm like, "Whatever." Mind you, I've known this girl for like a month now. She seemed pretty cool up to this point, but I can tell she has an attitude. I'm assuming it's because of the FaceTime call earlier. So I step over her because I always like to sit in the window because I'm not one of those people that gets up and uses the bathroom 100 times on the airplane. So I'm gonna sit at the window so I don't gotta get up and move as much. While we were flying, I turned my, air that, points at me up. And I noticed her reach across me, turn my air off. I looked at her and I was like, there's no way she just turned my air off, right? Like, there's no way. So I reached up, turned it back on. I'm sitting there thinking, like, there's no way this air is hitting her. And I fell asleep and I woke up and I noticed my air was off again. I'm sitting there thinking in my head, like, maybe she's just, trying to play a little joke on me before we get on this vacation, all right? This is no red flags just yet. So we begin landing and I open up my window. She reaches across me again and closes my window. And I'm sitting there at this point thinking, like, did you just enter my space and close my window? Like, first there's the clicking and then it was the air and I just closed my window. So I opened it back up. And she goes, "Why do you have to be like that?" And I'm going, "Be like what? It's the window." She goes, "Open windows give me anxiety and I don't want to see outside when we're landing." I was like, why don't you just start with that? Like, why do you have to reach into my space and close the window? Anyways, we get off the plane, we head to the hotel, I pick up the rental car, everything's all fine. Just before we're finally about to go out, enjoy the beach, she brings up the girl that had FaceTime and she's asking who it was. And I go, "Why didn't you just ask me on the, 2-hour flight that we had over here? Why do you gotta wait till we get to Mexico and you wanna start all these issues and with the air and the airplane? Like, just be so for real." I explained to her it was just a friend calling, etc., etc. And she goes, "Oh, I'm really scarred in my past. Like, I don't think that guys and girls can really be friends." Instantly, I'm like, I don't know if this might not be what I thought it was. Anyway, so we're already in Mexico, so I let it go at this point. So we're out, we're having a great time. And obviously, because I did, Two at the Handle, Perfect Match, and all these other dating reality shows, I have a big female audience. So while there, I took a couple pictures with some girls, and this really, really set her off. I'm talking to the point where she stormed off and went back to the hotel, ticked her off. So obviously we're on vacation, so I went, with her back to the hotel. I'm trying to talk to her. I'm like, it's not that serious. It's just a photo for Snapchat. I just want to show their friends that they know somebody that was on reality TV. Said girl didn't like my hand positioning in the photos. She said, "It's not the photos, it was your hand positioning." And I'm like, you want me just like around the neck, like super awkwardly? At this point, the attitude was just getting out of hand. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we should just, go back to LA and, we cannot do this whole thing. This really pissed her off. So she goes down, gets the rental car, right? And drives off. Mind you, I paid for the rental car. So I'm sitting there going like, you can't just take the rental car and leave, lady. At this point, I'm starting to realize like why like this girl has such trashy dating history. So I go out walking, looking for her, and I walk past this alley where I see her sitting in the car. And did she get out of the car and come give me the keys? No, she turns the car on and starts chasing my ass down with the car. It got to the point where I was stuck in an alley with a fence that was too high for me to climb and a condo on the other side. I was basically stuck there, right? And she gets out of the car hysterically laughing and told me I looked like a sexy cheetah running away from her. At this point, I'm like, oh my God, I am at a level of crazy that I can't even comprehend. So I obviously tried to de-escalate the situation and I was like being nice back, haha, laughing. Mind you, like I had changed the flights and we're going home that day. I made up some story about how like my mom was like sick or something, so I gotta go back early anyways, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't that bad. Anyways, we land back in LA. I get her an Uber home. I go home the next day. I don't respond to her for like 2 or 3 days, right? I go to the gym, I come back, and I find that my apartment door is open with a note on the door that says, "I really hope that you found God because I will be introducing you to him soon if you don't text me back." At this point, I didn't know what to do, so I did what any logical male would do. I packed all my stuff. I flew very far away to a very nice city in southern Florida. I stayed there for a couple weeks. I changed all of my addresses. I moved out of that apartment, broke my lease, told him I had a stalker, and didn't speak on this story for about a year and a half later. So, crazy lady, if you're watching this, yes, I moved. Yes, it was because of you. And yes, you are still blocked. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, so a guy that I've had a crush on forever slid in my DMs and asked if I wanted to get dinner with him. And oh my god, I was so excited. So I told all my friends and they were so excited for me. I mean, like this he's just a super popular guy and everyone likes him. He's so cute, so nice. I could not believe that this guy was like cold open asking me on a date, but I was so excited. I was like, what? I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna show up. So I get ready, I show up to the restaurant. He's already there. I asked where he was sitting and then I couldn't find him anywhere. And I look around, I see him sitting in the corner at a table with another girl. So what do you do? I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, maybe it's definitely just like, I don't know what I was thinking, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to narrate what I was thinking. I just walked over to the table and he was like, hey, this is my friend. And I was like, okay. Like, I thought maybe she was just, I don't know, passing by. Nope. So I sit down at this table and he's like, how are you? And I'm like, good. How are you guys? Plural. He was like, oh, we're good. And then he starts just talking to her. Doesn't give me any intro, any explanation. I'm confused. I really at this point still thought that maybe she was just like walking by and like happened to know him. But also she was like very comfortable in her seat. She ordered a drink. So I was like, oh my god. Is this like a 2-on-1? Are we like on The Bachelor right now? Imagine a guy you really like asks you on a date and you show up and he's also on a date with another girl at the same time. What do you do? I don't know what to do. And it's not even like it was like a group like thing because she wasn't talking to me at all. Yeah, I know. I'm mad too. The waiter comes and asks what we want to eat. And I was like, this is definitely her cue. Like she definitely has somewhere more important to be. Nope. She orders an entree. So the three of us go on a date. We're on a date together. And I was literally in shock. Like I didn't know. And then I started gaslighting myself. I was like, wait, why did I think this is a date? Like it's definitely just a fun group thing. But what kind of fun group thing is that when neither of them are really even talking to me? So, and also a single guy asking a single girl to get dinner with her. Isn't that a date, right? I don't know. That's a date. So now it's time to leave. And I feel like I did not say 4 words to this guy, but he asked if I wanted to ride home. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. We get in the car and he kisses me. So what is this? Was that a date? I don't know. I was in shock. I don't even know why I let him kiss me when that was the weirdest thing I've ever done. After he texted me and asked me what I thought about his Instagram. And I was like, it's a guy's Instagram. What do you want me to say? And he was like, no, I mean, like, I've been thinking about hiring someone to run my Instagram. And I was like, so that was a group interview to win a job, I guess, and someone to make out with? Why did he make out with me if he was trying to hire me? For like 10 minutes, by the way. So yeah.
I'm not kidding you. This man literally took me on a first date to his ex's job. Hi guys, good morning. Get ready with me while I tell you about a first date from literal hell. Okay, so I meet this guy off of Hinge. I should probably stay off of Hinge for now on. But I meet this man off of Hinge, right? And when I tell you this man is like cute, but he's like normal. Like he's a normal, down-to-earth man. I sensed no like major ego from him, you know? So we're texting for a few days and he's talking about what he does for work. He works in tech and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I work at Swig, you know, like I'm in college, so I still work at Swig. I still work pretty small job, you know? But we're texting and all that and we decide to go on a brunch for our first date. So I'm thinking nothing of this brunch, right? Like I'm thinking this is going to be cute, this is going to be casual, I'm going to be able to wear a cute dress, and it'll be fun. Boy, was I wrong. So we decided to meet at this cute little cafe that's in San Antonio because I'm not too far from San Antonio. So we meet there, and I show up looking cute, you know, wearing a cute little dress, you know, cute little glam, and he's already there. He looks great, and he has a bouquet of flowers in his hand. Pause. I'm gonna go do my lips off camera with the Statue Coral lip stain. So again, I see him standing there with the flowers, and I'm still walking up, so I can't really see him that well, but he looks pretty nice, like he looks good and everything, and I can see that he has flowers in his hand. So I finally get up to him and I see him. He looks good, guys. And he gives me a hug, walks me to the table, and we sit down, right? So as I'm sitting down, he pulls up my chair for me. He's being a gentleman. Like, all of the cards are being played right here. Like, there's nothing that's going wrong. Like, everything is great. So yeah, we're sitting down, and he proceeds to hand me these flowers. And they're kind of wilted. Now, I don't think anything of this because I'm thinking, oh, maybe he got them a few days ago because he was going to be busy, so maybe he just got them early. No. You know, I didn't want to be rude to this guy or anything, so I didn't say anything about the flowers being wilted because I'm not going to seem like I don't need perfect flowers. Like, I didn't want to seem like this entitled, like, upfront bitch to him, so I was grateful for the flowers, obviously, so I'm not going to say anything. Why would I? That's just rude. But before I could even think about not asking, he proceeds to tell me, yeah, I got those flowers for my ex. So, yeah, drops a bomb on me. Yeah, I got those flowers for my ex. You know, it was their anniversary. Their anniversary was that day. Then he proceeds to tell me that he literally broke up with his ex the day that we matched on Hinge. That makes me feel great. So at this point, we're about halfway through brunch, and I'm still thinking that this man is like full on joking. I fully think that he is joking with me and pulling this fantastic prank, and that he's like an actor of some sort, like, because there's no way that he just full on told me the truth. You know, if it wasn't for the free food, I probably would have left, but I'll do anything for free food, so we're still about halfway through brunch, and this man starts trauma dumping on my ass. He's going on and on and on about how his ex cheated on him with her coworker at a bookstore, and I'm like, oof, that's kind of rough, but I don't care. So then he tells me, do you actually want to go to the bookstore? It's right down the road. Sir, what did you just ask me? Now again, I'm sitting there just laughing because I'm thinking that this man is joking. I'm still hoping that this man is joking. He was not. So next thing you know, I'm in his car. And here's a minor green flag to everything that is happening around this. As we're in the car, the only thing that he played, Frank Ocean, like we were at a fucking funeral. So again, here I am in this car, just driving along, just enjoying the ride. And I'm thinking to myself, well, at least if I die, at least I will be listening to Frank Ocean. So, you know, we're driving along, we're doing our thing, we're just sitting there in silence, and I'm just grooving. I'm having a decent time. Like, he's not a bad driver, and I'm just getting to listen to Frank, hoping I don't die. And he pulls into this cute little indie shop, this cute little store, and I'm like, okay, like, that's cute. So this man, you know, he parks, we're looking at the store, so I make a comment saying it's cute, whatever. He opens the door, and I'm like, hold on, we're going in? So next thing I know, we're walking up into this bookstore, right? I stop and ask him, like, okay, hold on, why are we going in here? I just need to know. Apparently the guy still works there. The guy that his girlfriend cheated on him with, he wanted closure. But not any kind of closure. He wanted jealousy closure. He wanted to show it off. And you know what? I can't even blame a man for wanting to be jealous, you know? Or like wanting to show off something, because God knows I'm a jealous person. So I went ahead and walked onto the store and just let this guy have his fun, because who am I to stop him? But I just kind of pretended I didn't understand what was happening and I didn't know who this guy was, you know? So now I tell this man that I want to go get some dessert. So he takes us back to the restaurant because our table's still there. Like, they told us that we have, you know, X amount of time, and we still had time within our allotted space. So we went ahead and went back to the restaurant. We got some dessert. I remember being in like really in the mood for like a creme brulee with fruit on it, specifically just like something like fruit. I wanted a tart or like a pastry of some sort that was very fruity, very light, very summery, that I can get a cute Instagram post because I looked so good, guys. I looked so good. You know, it's kind of really all I wanted out of this whole thing was 1, a free meal, 2, some fun, and a cute little Instagram picture because I used a good dress. Like, I needed a good photo. So I tell him what we want to eat, and I'm like, I really want a pastry. He says, let's go back to the restaurant. I know the pastry chef. She's amazing. I think nothing of that. She's amazing. I know the pastry chef. She's amazing. I think nothing of that because that's not like a strange thing to say. Like, it's not like, oh, who is she? Why do you know her? So now we're back at the restaurant. We're back at our table. We're sitting at our original table that we were at before, and we order 2 of them because he says they're pretty small, so we order 2 of them, and I really just wanted my own so I could take a cute little photo. So after we order them, our waiter tells us it'll be about 20 minutes because it takes them a while to cook, and then of course they have to caramelize the top, so that takes a little bit of extra time. Obviously I know what the heck a creme brulee is. That's okay. But yeah, so we're just sitting there, we're talking again, and I wanted to ask him, since we were on the topic of exes, I was like, okay, well, like, why exactly did you break up with your ex? I was just curious. I just wanted to know, you know? So it's now been about 20 minutes, and our creme brulees are coming out. And lo and behold, our server is not bringing them. But who is? The pastry chef actually came out and brought us our treats herself because she said that she made them specially. But she made them special for a very specific reason, and we don't really notice that she's coming up to our table until she's basically at our table, so we're still talking about exes. And as she brings the creme brulees, he looks up and looks at me and goes, "That's my ex." So this man had the audacity to bring me on a date, a first date, to his ex-girlfriend's restaurant. But stay with me, guys. Now it's still getting worse. It is still getting worse. Now remember those flowers that he bought for me, but were for his ex? The only reason we went to this cafe was because he had a reservation. It was supposed to be for his ex's anniversary. I was on their date. I was on their anniversary date. There I was, absolutely dumbfounded. He took me on a first date to his ex's job. But yeah, now I'm done, so at least it looked cute.
I was recently so love bombed and so severely gaslit that I have to come on TikTok and tell you guys my story because you guys, it's not safe out here. I'm going to give you guys all the details. And once we get to the end, I'm not going to give you my conclusion. I would like you to make your own conclusions and your own assumptions, and maybe we can chat about it. So about a month ago, I met a guy on Hinge. That was probably my first mistake. We went out, we went and got sushi, first date, the vibes were good. Like, he was chill, he was telling me about, you know, where he went to school, where he grew up. He's not originally from LA, so we're just, you know, doing the back and forth, getting to know each other. We split some sushi, we had a little bit of sake, like the vibes were good. I also want to preface that this man is a father. I have never seen someone who has a kid before, but I was super open to it. But this is an important part of the plot, so I need you to keep that in your back pocket. So we had our first date, vibes were good. I was like, we're definitely gonna go on a second date. He gave me a little smooch by my car. I was like, okay, good energy, good vibes. This was like in the beginning of the week. Fast forward to the weekend. I went to the Rose Bowl Flea and I had the most insane meet cute with another person. And I actually made a TikTok about it, so if you want to go watch that, please do. This is an important piece of the plot, so I also need you to put this in your back pocket. It was a crazy story. I ended up making an entire TikTok about it because it was just one of those things where it's like, this only happens once in a lifetime, feels like a movie plot. I need to share it with the people. So I did. So now going back to the original guy that the story's about, we went on a second date earlier in the week. We went and grabbed food and then we went to a Lookout. Date number 2, he picks me up, we go and grab food, and then we go to a Lookout. It was a very chill date. We had an incredible time. We were giggling, laughing, super easy to be around each other. It felt like we had known each other for a really long time. He drops me off. The date is great. He texts me the next day, good morning, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm definitely simping over you. I was like, honestly, feelings mutual. Like, I feel like we have a great connection, but nothing crazy. Like, we're not talking crazy. It's not escalating. So a few days later, we go on another date, and this time we're going bar hopping. So when we get to the very first bar, one conversation led to the next, and he ended up telling me that he found my Instagram and my TikTok. And when he said he found my TikTok, I just knew by his facial expression that he had seen the TikTok about the guy I had met at the flea market after our first date. We had a whole conversation around it. He was like, you know, you don't owe me anything. We had only gone on one date at this point. He was like, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. It's not that deep. And I'm just reassuring him. I'm like, listen, that's so separate. That was just this one time. And again, like, you and I had just met, and he was on the same page. He was like, it's chill, no worries. On this date, we end up going to, I think, 3 bars. We're having a great time. The music's good. We're having drinks. The drinks are flowing. Keep in mind, the drinks are flowing. So by the time we get to the last bar, it was like more dive bar, sports bar situation. We're just sitting there. He's sitting in front of me. He's like, yeah, we're going to date. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, we've been drinking all night in my head. We've been drinking all night. I don't really take what men say seriously, so I kind of just was like, okay, got it, but noted that you said something like that. And I mentioned, hey, listen, I have never been seeing anyone who has a son, and I take that very seriously, and so I would want to make sure that we, you know, take it slow because of that. And he said something along the lines of, well, whenever you're ready to meet him, I'm ready for you to meet him too. And I'm just thinking in my head, okay, we're drunk, but noted. You know what I'm saying? Like, noted. So from this point on, the man is texting me every day, every morning, like, good morning, sunshine. He calls me baby. He came over to my house with flowers, which, again, really nice, but we were just, you know, we were escalating. And in my head, I was like, okay, I don't feel like he's rushing or going to press a relationship. It just feels like we have such an instant connection that we're just going to let it flow, and it just feels really comfortable. But I just made sure to match his energy. Like, I'm never going to be the one starting to call someone pet names and all these things. I will just match energy. And for the most part, I never even really matched that part. He was he was really driving home with the baby. I can add some screenshots. I think this is maybe now our 4th or 5th date. He comes over, he's making us dinner, unprovoked, in the kitchen. I'm sitting on the couch, he's making steaks. He goes, I deleted Hinge. I was like, what? Kind of caught off guard, but I'm like, okay, like that's nice. And he's like, yeah, you know, I just don't need it, and I'm having such a great time getting to know you. I was like, oh my gosh, sick. And he's like, it's okay if you didn't delete yours. And I wasn't sure if he was like poking at it. I was like, well, I haven't seen anyone or met up with anyone since we've met, but I haven't necessarily deleted it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But keeping in mind, like, I want to take it slow, but I'm okay with how comfortable we feel with each other. So I was open to the progression that it was moving, if that makes sense. He's a music guy, so for our second date, to ask me on a second date, he actually made me a playlist with a bunch of songs that he thought I would like, which is really, really nice. But I want you to, again, keep that noted up here. So at this point, we're having dates, we're having sleepovers, we're hanging out, like making breakfast in the morning. Everything is happening mostly at my house outside of the actual dates we go on, mostly just hangouts at my house and like overnights at my place because he was in the middle of moving. So I never actually got to see how he lives, and that for me is super important in a relationship. Like, I want to see how somebody lives their life in their own environment, and I hadn't gotten there yet. So again, I'm just trying mentally taking it slow because there's a lot I don't necessarily know about him, and keeping in mind that he also has a kid, which again, I take incredibly serious. He mentions things multiple times of, one, I can't wait to make you food at my new place. I would love for you to help me decorate. He was talking about upgrading his style, and I was like, oh, like I can totally help you with that if you want. And so I made him a Pinterest board and was just kind of like diving into different outfits. He was sending me like outfits that he liked on Instagram, and he's like, good looks, baby, like blah, 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 blah. Like, we are progressing, but still it's not too much where I'm scared or anything like that. He's telling me he hasn't felt like this with someone in so long. He hasn't seriously dated anyone since he had his kid and all of his stuff. And again, just really affirming me, making semi-future plans. He was like, let's explore the west side together because we both live on like the East Los Angeles side. So I'm going to preface this next part by saying I'm a business owner. I own a health and fitness coaching business for women. I've been doing this for 4 years full time. I'm always a part of different mentorships, and I actually had an in-person mastermind that I was going to in Austin, Texas this week. So this was this past week. So I told him about it, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna be gone for an entire week. And he was like, oh, am I not going to see you? I was like, I can hang out Monday night because I knew he didn't have work Tuesday. So he ended up coming over Tuesday night. We had dinner. We had a little sleepover. In the morning, we walked and got coffee, made him breakfast, like was just really good vibes overall. Very like lovey-dovey, all over each other. You get the vibes. Like, I don't need to explain it. I showed him a song that I really, really liked while I was in the kitchen cooking. I was like, I love songs like this. He was like, I got you. I'm going to make you an airport playlist with songs that are just like this that I think you'll like. So I think a part of his love language is definitely making playlists, but like he literally made me a playlist called Airport Baby for me to listen to when I went to the airport. And then he goes, do you want me to pick you up from the airport when you come home? I'm like thinking in my head, picking someone up from LAX is no easy task. You do that for people that you care about. I was like, you really don't have to do that. He was like, no, I don't mind. Like, I'll pick you up. Like, as long as I don't have my kid, which I don't think I'll have him, like, I'm good to pick you up and we can head back to my new apartment, or I can drop you up at home. Since you've been traveling, you'll probably want to sleep at home. I was like, that's so nice. Like, sure. Like, that's great. So you would think, given all of the information that you now have up until this point, that this person likes me. Like, we would give it that, right? So I leave to go to the airport on Wednesday. I text him, hey, like, boarding my flight, whatever. He was like, safe travels, yada, yada. I do not hear from this man for 2 days. I'm thinking about it realistically. Okay, he probably has a lot going on with the move. I'm going to text him first. No big deal. I text him first, and he says the move is going well, blah, blah, blah. He's like, how's it going for you? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun at the mastermind weekend. So glad that I came. His first response after that isn't, oh, what are you learning? Like, what are you so excited about? No, it was, who is that specimen of a man teaching your class? Because I had posted an Instagram story of my mentor. And first red flag was dinging in my head, and I was like, that used to be my fitness coach. He's now my business mentor. He transitioned to that. He was like, ain't no one girl safe around that man. No wonder he quit personal training. And as soon as he's saying all this, I'm like, red flags, red flag. Then we don't communicate for 2 more days. He texts me, hey, can't pick you up from the airport. I'm actually going to have my kid. I was like, it's fine, no problem. So now it's Tuesday. I'm back in LA. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to text him. We're going to get this figured out. I was like, hey, communication has been pretty off since you left. Like, what's good? Are you okay? Just holding some space, because honestly, he could be going through something I might not know. know. I don't really know him that well, to be honest, you know? He was like, yeah, everything's okay. I was just messing around with my last messages. I was like, okay, whatever. He sends me another text and he's like, with the way this is going, this is definitely moving in a relationship and I really want to focus on my business right now and I've been giving up time to hang out with you in order to do that. And it's not you at all, but I really just need to pour into my business right now. And to me, I'm like, listen, I'm a business owner. If that's really what you want to do, that's totally fine. And I was super nice about it. And then I let him know too. I was like, hey, the way that you were showing up is very left field from this. Just future heads up, I probably wouldn't show up this way if you're not ready for a relationship. I gave him examples of how he said he was going to date me and all these other things. And then he goes, actually, I don't want to hear it from you. Some advice for you. I wouldn't go on a date with one guy and then meet another guy and make a TikTok about how amazing that other guy is. And then he said, well, when I said I wanted to date you, I was really fucked up. And I said I deleted Hinge because I don't need it. And making playlists for people isn't love bombing. So we went from you're great and I just need to pour into my business to absolutely gaslighting and dragging me. And honestly, for me, I'm reading all the things he's saying and I'm like, oh, I see exactly what's going on here. And now I can see that I've dodged a bullet. Just a reminder to not believe everything that men say, let them show you, and date secure men.
Can I actually double down and make it 2 bears after this interaction I just had with a man on Hinge? Because hear me out. This is literally like how scary dating is for women. Like, this is what we get to deal with. And tell me this wasn't like a little bit of a concerning, foreboding interaction. This is also my message to Hinge, because we need a feature where you can report someone after they unmatch you. Because it was only a little bit unsettling until he literally unmatched me over this, and now it's deeply concerning. So to set the scene, I matched today with a boy named Alex, and nothing seems off about his profile. In fact, like, I was impressed by his profile. He seemed like a very normal, and also just like the photos were good. Like, the profile was impressive. And he's verified, so the profile's real too. And he likes a photo of me on the beach, and he opens up by saying something along the lines of, amazing, now all that's left is for me to come and inspect this perfection in person over a bottle of wine, which I think is like a pretty fun, creative, and very flattering opening. Like, any more would have been a little bit creepy, but that was pretty charming. Like, I'll give him that. So I messaged back, oh, thanks, haha. I'm not really a wine person, but I do love where your head's at. I totally agree. So he writes back, well, then how about cocktails then? And I say, I do really like a good cocktail, but I try and make it a personal rule not to drink alcohol on a first date with strangers for obvious safety reasons. And this is an interaction I have a lot with men, because they'll ask you out for drinks, and I'm like, I'm not a big drink person anyways. Like, I'm not huge on alcohol. I'll have a cocktail here and there, but I'm like, I would never really just like go out for a drink or two. It's not something I love. I prefer to do an event or like coffee or appetizers or something. And usually boys are like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Let's like go get apps or something, or do, you know, we reroute, we plan something else. But this man keeps pressing the alcohol issue. He's like, I can't even convince you to have a little bit. Like, you're not even gonna have any. And naturally I was like, that's like a really weird response, right? Like, why is this so important? So I write back to him, is alcohol something that's really important to you in your life? That's all I sent, but like, yeah, because it's not that important to me. Like, I'm not a huge alcohol person. I don't really drink that often. I am one of the Gen Z stereotypes where we're killing the drinking industry, you know? But I was like, yeah, I'd be more than down to get like apps or something else. He literally unmatched me after that. Like, why was me getting drunk upon meeting you, sir, that important that when I suggested anything else, like, you were gone, you were out? And men like that is unfortunately why I have these boundaries, to weed out people like that. But like, this is what we have to deal with. Like, was that reaction not like deeply concerning? We should be able to go back and report that after they're gone. And like, yeah, I could email them and tell them about it, but like, if I don't have a screenshot, what are you gonna say? Alex in Minneapolis said he was Jewish? That really doesn't narrow it down.